Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire, where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding in plain sight inside old jars, forgotten drawers, dusty attics, piggy banks, estate sales, flea markets, and pocket change that most people spend every single day without realizing the incredible fortune they may be holding. And today we are diving into one of the most shocking and mysterious stories in modern American coin collecting history. The legendary 1972 D5-cent USA coin that collectors believe could be worth as much as $83 million because of rare minting errors, unbelievable mistakes, mysterious production flaws, and once-in-a-lifetime possibilities that continue to fascinate coin hunters all around the world, because while millions of ordinary Jefferson Nickels were produced at the Denver Mint in 1972, a tiny number of strange and highly unusual examples may have escaped into circulation carrying errors so dramatic and rare that experts still debate how they were even created in the first place. And that is exactly what makes this coin such a thrilling mystery for collectors, because every detail on a coin matters, from the mint mark to the strike pressure, from the die alignment to the metal composition, and when several rare mistakes combine on a single coin, the value can explode into the millions under the right conditions, especially when the coin is unique or connected to a major minting accident that cannot easily be repeated again. And one of the biggest reasons the 1972 D5-cent coin has captured so much attention is because the early 1970s were filled with unusual minting activity across American coin production as the United States Mint struggled with aging machinery, heavy production demands, die deterioration, and increasing circulation needs, which created the perfect environment for accidental errors and strange variations to occur during production. And collectors who carefully study Jefferson Nickels know that some of the most valuable coins in existence come from these chaotic periods when small mistakes slipped past inspectors and entered circulation unnoticed, turning ordinary pocket change into life-changing discoveries decades later. And when it comes to the 1972 D nickel, there are several categories of errors and possibilities that can make a single example incredibly valuable, including doubled dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, clipped planchets, die cracks, die clashes, broad strikes, over-polished dies, rotated dies, full steps details, missing clad layers, dramatic strike-through errors, and even mysterious experimental metal compositions that continue to spark rumors among collectors and coin experts alike. And one of the most talked about possibilities involves a rare double die error where the design elements appear doubled because of a misalignment during the die creation process. And if such a double die appears strong enough on the date, lettering, or Jefferson's profile, it can become one of the rarest and most valuable varieties in the entire Jefferson Nickel series, because collectors are always searching for dramatic visible doubling that can be identified without magnification, especially when combined with pristine condition and low surviving populations. And imagine finding a 1972 D nickel where the inscriptions appear clearly doubled, the mint mark sits slightly shifted, and the coin still retains brilliant mint luster after more than 50 years. Because such a combination would instantly attract enormous attention at auctions and private collector sales where wealthy buyers compete aggressively for the rarest mint errors ever discovered. And another fascinating possibility comes from the chance of a wrong planchet strike, which happens when a coin is struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even another country, creating a bizarre mismatch in size, weight, thickness, or color that immediately signals something extraordinary to experienced collectors. And if a 1972 D Jefferson nickel were somehow struck on a silver planchet, a cent planchet, or an experimental alloy blank used for testing purposes at the mint, the rarity could become almost impossible to measure, because only a handful of such accidents may exist in the entire world. And collectors know that wrong planchet errors are among the most dramatic and valuable mint mistakes ever created, because they reveal a direct failure in the minting process itself, allowing a coin to become a historical artifact representing a mistake that was never supposed to leave the mint alive. And then there is the famous full steps designation that Jefferson Nickel collectors obsess over, because the steps beneath Monticello on the reverse side are often weakly struck or damaged during circulation, making fully detailed steps incredibly rare on many dates and mint marks, especially from busy production years like 1972. So if a 1972 D nickel survives with perfectly visible full steps, blazing original surfaces, no wear, and perhaps additional mint errors combined together, the coin could become a superstar among collectors seeking the absolute finest known examples for registry collections where competition becomes fierce and emotional. And registry collectors are willing to spend unbelievable amounts of money for coins that rank as the best in the world because owning the number one graded example creates prestige and recognition across the entire numismatic community, and that is how prices can climb from hundreds to thousands, then to millions under the perfect circumstances, especially when media attention and collector hype fuel the excitement surrounding a legendary discovery. And some experts also speculate about the possibility of transitional errors during the early 1970s when the mint experimented with different die preparations and production methods, because transitional coins are extremely valuable when they show features from two different production styles or compositions accidentally mixed together, creating a rare snapshot of change inside the minting process, and whenever a unique coin surfaces carrying characteristics that do not match official mint records, collectors immediately become obsessed with uncovering its story because every unexplained feature adds another layer of mystery and rarity. And mystery itself is one of the strongest drivers of coin value because wealthy collectors love owning pieces surrounded by unanswered questions and historical intrigue, and another important factor that can push a coin toward extraordinary value is condition, because even a common nickel can become surprisingly valuable in flawless mint state grades, but when an already rare error survives in near perfect condition the value can skyrocket beyond imagination, especially if grading services certify the coin as one of the finest known examples in existence, and grading companies carefully examine every tiny detail including luster, strike quality, surface preservation, contact marks, eye appeal, and originality, and when a coin receives an elite grade with a rare error designation it immediately enters a different category of collecting where millionaire investors and elite numismatists begin paying close attention. And one of the most exciting parts of coin collecting is the fact that incredible discoveries still happen today because valuable error coins continue turning up in circulation, inherited collections, old rolls, bank boxes, estate sales, and forgotten containers that families ignored for decades without realizing the fortune hidden inside, and there have been stories of collectors discovering rare nickels worth thousands or even millions after carefully inspecting ordinary-looking coins under magnification, searching for tiny differences invisible to the average person, and that possibility keeps treasure hunters motivated every single day because the next legendary coin could still be out there waiting to be discovered by someone willing to pay attention, and the 1972 5-cent coin represents exactly that kind of dream because at first glance it looks ordinary, yet under the right conditions it could contain minting secrets worth an unimaginable fortune. And rumors surrounding ultra-rare examples valued at $83 million continue spreading across the collecting world because whenever a coin combines extreme rarity, historical mystery, pristine condition, dramatic errors, and collector demand, the potential value becomes almost limitless, especially if the coin is unique or tied to a once-in-history minting accident, and many collectors spend years studying Jefferson Nickels specifically because the series contains so many overlooked varieties and hidden treasures that ordinary people ignore every day, and unlike gold coins or ancient artifacts, nickels still circulate widely, which means valuable discoveries remain possible. For anyone willing to search carefully through change, coin rolls, and inherited collections, and that accessibility makes the hobby incredibly exciting because life-changing finds are not limited to museums or wealthy investors, they can happen to regular people in ordinary situations, and experts always recommend checking dates, mint marks, strike quality, unusual textures, doubling, color differences, edge abnormalities, weight inconsistencies, and any strange appearance that makes a coin look different from normal examples because those tiny clues may reveal a hidden mint error worth an astonishing amount of money, and the story of the 1972 nickel continues inspiring collectors because it reminds everyone that even the smallest coin can carry extraordinary history and unbelievable value when rare mistakes transform it into something unique. And while most nickels from 1972 are only worth face value, the rare exceptions prove that hidden treasures still exist, waiting for sharp eyes and patient collectors to uncover them, and every year new discoveries enter the numismatic world, shocking experts and reigniting interest in coins once believed ordinary, which means the next legendary 1972 5-cent coin could still be sitting unnoticed somewhere right now, hidden among everyday change, waiting for the moment someone finally realizes they are holding one of the rarest and most valuable mint mistakes in American history. Next, 1983 5-cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most unbelievable stories in the world of rare American coins, a story that has collectors searching through old jars, forgotten drawers, inherited collections, and even pocket change hoping to discover a hidden treasure that could completely change their lives forever. And the coin we are talking about today is the mysterious 1983 D5-cent USA coin that many collectors believe could be worth up to $80 million because of its shocking errors, strange mint mistakes, rare production possibilities, and unbelievable historical importance in the coin collecting world. And if you are someone who loves rare coins, valuable nickels, minting mistakes, error coins, and hidden treasures still circulating in everyday life, then this is going to be one of the most exciting stories you will ever hear, because the 1983 D Jefferson Nickel has become surrounded by mystery, speculation, collector obsession, and incredible rumors that continue growing year after year. And what makes this coin so fascinating is not just its age or appearance, but the strange combination of minting defects and rare possibilities that could make a single small 5-cent coin worth more than luxury mansions, private jets, and exotic sports cars combined. Because in the world of numismatics, which is the study and collecting of coins, certain minting errors can turn ordinary pocket change into legendary treasures worth fortunes beyond imagination, and the 1983 D nickel sits right in the center of one of the most exciting discussions among collectors who believe some ultra-rare examples may still exist undiscovered somewhere in America, waiting for someone lucky enough to find them. And before we understand why this coin can reach such unbelievable values, we first need to travel back to the early 1980s in the United States, when the economy was changing. Inflation concerns were growing, and the United States Mint was under heavy pressure to produce massive quantities of coins for circulation as quickly as possible. And during these high production periods, mistakes became more likely because machines were running constantly, dies were wearing out faster, quality control could sometimes miss important details, and workers had to maintain huge production numbers every single day. And the Denver Mint, identified by the small d mint mark on the coin, produced enormous quantities of Jefferson Nickels in 1983, but hidden among the millions of normal coins, collectors believe a tiny number of extraordinary error examples were accidentally released into circulation, creating one of the biggest treasure hunts in modern coin collecting history. And one of the first reasons the 1983 D5-cent coin became so famous is because of possible double die errors, which occur when the coin die receives multiple impressions at slightly different angles during the manufacturing process, creating noticeable doubling in letters, numbers, or design features. And when this happens on a coin, collectors become extremely excited, because double die errors are among the most valuable mint mistakes in numismatic history, especially when the doubling is dramatic and clearly visible. And on certain rumored 1983 D nickels, collectors claim to have seen unusual doubling around the date, the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even details of Thomas Jefferson's portrait, making these examples incredibly desirable because major double die nickels are extremely rare and difficult to find. And when a coin combines rarity, mystery, and visible minting mistakes, the value can rise to astonishing levels very quickly. But that is only the beginning, because another shocking possibility connected to the 1983 D nickel involves off-center strikes, where the coin blank was not properly aligned when struck by the minting press, causing part of the design to be missing while other areas become stretched or distorted. And depending on how dramatic the off-center strike appears, these coins can become highly collectible, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible, because collectors always want error coins that can still be identified clearly. And some stories claim that a few extreme off-center 1983 D nickels escaped into circulation with highly unusual strike patterns never officially documented by the mint, adding another layer of mystery and excitement to this already legendary coin. And then there are the rumors of wrong planchet errors, which are among the most valuable mistakes in all coin collecting, because they occur when a coin is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even another country's currency. And imagine finding a 1983 D nickel struck on a smaller cent planchet, or perhaps on a foreign coin blank with completely incorrect metal composition, weight, and appearance, because such a mistake would instantly become a major numismatic sensation worth potentially millions of dollars depending on uniqueness and condition. And collectors continue searching for strange examples with unusual colors, weights, thicknesses, or magnetic properties that could reveal hidden minting accidents from the Denver Mint during that year. And another reason this coin has attracted massive attention is because the early 1980s represented a transitional period in coin production technology and quality control, meaning that some experimental dies, test strikes, or improperly prepared blanks may have accidentally entered circulation without official documentation, and whenever collectors believe undocumented experimental coins exist, excitement spreads rapidly because undiscovered treasures become possible, and that possibility is exactly what fuels the legend of the 1983 5-cent coin. Because people love the idea that a simple nickel sitting unnoticed in a jar could secretly be one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever created, and over the years stories have spread across flea markets, coin shops, estate sales, garage sales, and online collector communities about strange 1983 nickels with missing details, unusual surfaces, bizarre strike characteristics, or impossible minting combinations, and while many of these stories remain unverified, the mystery itself continues driving collector demand higher and higher. Because in numismatics sometimes the possibility of discovering an unknown rarity can be just as powerful as confirmed rarity itself, and one of the most valuable possibilities connected to this coin involves full-step Jefferson Nickels, which are coins showing extremely sharp detail on the steps of Monticello located on the reverse side, because full-step nickels are very difficult to produce due to strike pressure limitations and die wear, and collectors pay enormous premiums for coins displaying complete uninterrupted step details, especially in high mint state grades, and if a rare 1983 nickel combined full steps with major mint errors such as double dies, repunched mint marks, clipped planchets, broad strikes, or die cracks, the value could rise into unimaginable territory because collectors compete fiercely for unique combinations of rarity and perfection, and condition also plays a huge role in determining coin value because most 1983 nickels entered circulation immediately and became worn through everyday use, meaning truly pristine uncirculated examples are already difficult to locate, but when an ultra rare error survives in gem mint condition with flawless surfaces, sharp luster, and beautiful strike quality, collectors and investors may battle intensely to own it, driving prices higher with every auction appearance. And another fascinating possibility surrounding this coin involves die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies accidentally strike each other without a coin blank between them, transferring partial design elements onto each die and creating strange ghost-like features on future coins, and dramatic die clash errors can become extremely collectible when clearly visible, especially on already scarce dates and mint marks, and some rumored 1983 nickels reportedly display unusual clash patterns never commonly seen on Jefferson Nickels, making them objects of obsession among advanced error collectors who study every tiny detail under microscope searching for hidden anomalies. And then there are die cracks and cuds, which happen when coin dies begin breaking apart after heavy use, causing raised lines, blobs, or missing design sections to appear on coins, and while small die cracks are relatively common, massive dramatic cuds or shattered die examples are much rarer and more valuable, especially if the coin remains in excellent condition. And stories about bizarre shattered 1983 nickels with dramatic surface distortions have only added fuel to the belief that extraordinary undiscovered examples may still exist somewhere today. And another reason collectors are so fascinated by this coin is because the Jefferson Nickel series itself has become one of the most actively collected coin series in American numismatics, meaning there are thousands of passionate collectors constantly searching for better examples, rare varieties, and hidden errors, and whenever a coin series has a strong collector base, prices for rare varieties can explode because competition becomes intense, and the 1983 nickel sits at an interesting intersection between modern coinage and serious rarity speculation, making it a perfect target for treasure hunters hoping to discover something extraordinary, and what makes the dream even more exciting is the fact that nickels are still relatively ignored by the general public compared to gold coins or silver dollars, meaning valuable examples can remain hidden in circulation much longer because most people never examine their nickels carefully, and countless stories exist about people finding valuable error coins in old piggy banks, inherited collections, coin rolls from banks, and even spare change from stores, which keeps hope alive that another legendary 1983 error nickel could appear at any moment. And one of the biggest factors driving the mythical $80 million value rumors is the concept of uniqueness, because in the world of rare coins, A one-of-a-kind specimen can become virtually priceless if wealthy collectors decide they absolutely must own it, and history has shown that unique coin. Next, 1984 5-cent coin. Today we are exploring another unbelievable story from the fascinating world of rare American coins, and this time we are talking about the mysterious 1984 5-cent USA coin that many collectors and treasure hunters believe could be worth as much as $77 million because of its rare minting errors, shocking production mistakes, hidden varieties, and extraordinary possibilities that continue to excite the coin collecting community around the world. And if you think a simple nickel in your pocket could never become worth a fortune larger than luxury mansions, private islands, and exotic supercars combined, then prepare yourself for one of the most incredible stories in modern numismatic history, because the 1984 Jefferson Nickel has become surrounded by mystery, speculation, collector obsession, and rumors of rare error coins that may still be hidden somewhere in circulation waiting for the right person to discover them. And what makes this story so powerful is the fact that millions of ordinary people ignore nickels every single day without realizing that one tiny detail, one strange mistake, or one rare minting error could instantly transform a common 5-cent coin into a life-changing treasure worth unimaginable money. And collectors across America continue searching through jars of spare change, inherited collections, old bankrolls, flea market boxes, estate sales, and forgotten drawers, hoping to uncover one of these legendary 1984 nickels, because in the world of coin collecting, even the smallest minting mistake can create enormous value when rarity, condition, historical importance, and collector demand all combine together. And to understand why the 1984 5-cent coin has gained such legendary attention, we first need to look back at the United States Mint during the early 1980s, a period when coin production was extremely busy and mint facilities were working constantly to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage. And whenever coins are produced in massive quantities under pressure, mistakes become more likely because dies wear out faster, machines run continuously, quality control can miss unusual defects, and mint workers must keep production moving quickly. And during this period, the Denver Mint and Philadelphia Mint both produced enormous numbers of Jefferson Nickels. But hidden among those millions of ordinary coins, collectors believe a handful of extraordinary error examples escaped into circulation, creating one of the most exciting treasure hunts in modern numismatics. And one of the biggest reasons the 1984 nickel has become so valuable is because of double die errors, which happen when the design die used to strike the coin receives more than one impression at slightly different angles during the creation process, causing letters, numbers, and design elements to appear doubled on the finished coin. And collectors love double die errors because they are highly visible, historically important, and often extremely rare. And on certain rumored 1984 nickels, people claim to have discovered unusual doubling around the date, Jefferson's portrait, the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even details of Monticello on the reverse side. And when strong doubling appears clearly on a coin, the value can increase dramatically because collectors compete fiercely for famous error varieties, especially when only a few examples are known to exist. And another major reason the 1984 nickel attracts enormous attention involves off-center strike errors, where the coin blank was improperly positioned during the striking process, causing part of the design to miss the coin completely while other areas become stretched or distorted. And the more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin may become, especially if the date remains visible, because collectors always want identifiable error coins. And stories continue circulating among collectors about strange 1984 nickels with dramatic off-center strikes, unusual shapes, and bizarre appearances that were never officially documented by the mint, increasing the mystery surrounding this already fascinating coin. And perhaps one of the most exciting possibilities connected to the 1984 5-cent coin is the idea of wrong planchet errors, which occur when a coin is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination or another country's currency, and these mistakes are considered among the most valuable errors in all of numismatics because they create coins with incorrect weight, unusual color, different size, or strange metal composition. And imagine discovering a 1984 nickel struck on a cent planchet, dime planchet, or foreign blank, because such a coin would instantly become a major sensation among collectors and investors around the world. And some treasure hunters continue weighing and examining unusual-looking 1984 nickels, hoping to uncover evidence of one of these legendary minting accidents. And another fascinating possibility involves clipped planchet errors, where the metal blanks used for coin production are improperly cut from large sheets, leaving curved missing sections along the edge of the finished coin, and dramatic clipped planchets with clear visible errors are always popular among collectors, especially when associated with rare dates and unusual varieties. And some collectors believe combinations of multiple errors may exist on certain 1984 nickels, such as double dies combined with clipped planchets or off-center strikes, creating unique one-of-a-kind specimens that could potentially reach unbelievable auction prices if discovered and authenticated. And one reason the value rumors surrounding the 1984 nickel have become so massive is because collectors understand that truly unique coins can become virtually priceless when wealthy buyers compete for ownership. And throughout history, rare coins with famous stories have sold for astonishing amounts because elite collectors are often willing to spend fortunes to acquire something nobody else can own. And if a previously unknown 1984 nickel surfaced featuring dramatic mint errors, perfect preservation, and historical importance, the resulting bidding war could easily create headlines across the numismatic world, especially if the coin became recognized as a unique specimen unlike anything previously seen. And another huge factor driving collector interest is the possibility of full steps nickels, because on the reverse side of the Jefferson Nickel, the building known as Monticello contains tiny steps at its base, and coins showing complete uninterrupted step details are considered extremely desirable because achieving such sharp strikes was difficult during mass production, and full step nickels in high mint state grades already command strong premiums. But if a rare 1984 era coin also displayed full steps and pristine surfaces, the value could become extraordinary because collectors love coins combining rarity, quality, and visual perfection, and condition plays a massive role in determining coin value because most nickels immediately entered circulation where they suffered scratches, wear, discoloration, and damage from everyday use, meaning truly flawless uncirculated examples are much harder to find than many people realize, and when a rare error survives in exceptional condition with bright luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details, collectors and investors become far more interested because preservation dramatically increases desirability. And another mysterious possibility surrounding the 1984 5-cent coin involves die clashes, which happen when the obverse and reverse dies accidentally strike each other without a blank coin between them, transferring parts of each design onto the opposing die and creating strange ghost-like features on future coins. And dramatic die clash errors can become highly collectible because they reveal hidden details of the minting process that normally remain invisible, and some collectors claim certain 1984 nickels show unusual clash marks around Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building, making them especially desirable among advanced era collectors who spend countless hours studying coins under magnification searching for hidden anomalies. And then there are die crack and cut errors, which occur when coin dies begin breaking apart after heavy use, causing raised lines, blobs, or missing sections to appear on the finished coin. And while small die cracks are relatively common, major shattered dies and large cuts are much rarer and often extremely valuable, particularly when combined with strong eye appeal and excellent condition. And stories about strange 1984 nickels with dramatic die breaks continue circulating throughout the collecting community, adding more mystery and excitement to the hunt for valuable examples. And another reason the 1984 nickel remains so fascinating is because many collectors believe transitional errors or experimental production mistakes may have occurred during the early 1980s without official documentation, and transitional errors happen when outdated materials, dyes, or minting equipment accidentally become mixed with newer production methods, creating coins with unusual characteristics that should never officially exist. And because the United States Mint does not always publicly document every production anomaly, collectors continue speculating that undocumented 1,984 varieties may still remain undiscovered in private collections or circulation today. And one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the fact that new discoveries still happen decades after coins were originally produced, meaning it is entirely possible that extraordinary 1984 nickel varieties remain hidden somewhere waiting to surprise the numismatic world. And social media and online auction platforms have only increased interest in rare nickels because collectors can instantly share discoveries, discuss strange errors, and compare unusual coins with experts around the world. And every time someone posts photographs of a strange-looking 1984 nickel online, excitement spreads rapidly as collectors analyze the images searching for clues that might reveal a previously unknown variety or valuable mint mistake. And this constant discussion keeps the legend of the 1984 nickel alive because people love the idea that hidden treasures could still exist unnoticed. Last 1988 D5-cent coin. Today we are diving into one of the most shocking and exciting stories in the world of coin collecting, the legendary 1988 D5-cent USA coin that collectors believe could be worth an astonishing $74 million because of rare errors, mysterious minting mistakes, impossible varieties, and hidden features that most people overlook every single day. And if you have old jars of nickels, forgotten coin rolls, inherited collections, or even spare change lying around your home, then you need to pay close attention because one tiny detail on a seemingly ordinary coin could completely change your life forever. And what makes the 1988 D Jefferson Nickel so fascinating is that millions of people have handled these coins without realizing some versions may contain extremely rare minting abnormalities that turn a common 5-cent coin into a collector's dream worth a fortune beyond imagination. And before we uncover the secrets behind this incredible coin, remember that rare coin collecting is not just about age, because sometimes the smallest production mistake can create one of the rarest treasures in American numismatic history. And the 1988 D nickel is a perfect example of how minting accidents, die flaws, striking errors, and transitional mysteries can combine into something so extraordinary that wealthy collectors around the world compete aggressively to own them. And the reason experts continue discussing the possibility of a multi-million $1,988 D nickel is because the United States Mint produced billions of coins every year, but only a microscopic number escaped the mint with rare combinations of defects and unusual characteristics that were never supposed to exist, creating coins that become legendary over time. And when collectors search through old rolls of nickels, many specifically hope to discover one of these impossible error combinations because the coin market has repeatedly shown that rarity, condition, historical importance, and mint mistakes can transform ordinary change into unbelievable wealth. And the 1988 D nickel came from the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the reverse side next to Monticello. And while most were struck normally, there are rumors, collector stories, and auction discussions surrounding a handful of specimens with dramatic minting abnormalities that have caused huge excitement in the hobby. And one of the most talked about possibilities is the appearance of double dies on the lettering and design elements, because during the die manufacturing process, if the design was accidentally impressed more than once at slightly different angles, the result could produce visible doubling on words like Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or even the date itself. And collectors know that strong double die coins are among the most valuable mint errors ever discovered because they are created during the die production stage rather than through damage after circulation, making them true mint-made rarities. And if a 1988 D nickel were discovered with an extreme double die combined with flawless condition, sharp strike details, and additional minting anomalies, the theoretical value could skyrocket into the millions because elite collectors often pay extraordinary prices for unique error combinations. And another reason this coin fascinates the numismatic community is the possibility of repunched mint marks or misplaced mint marks, because during certain periods in American coin history, mint marks were punched into dies by hand, and slight errors during that process could create overlapping impressions, strange positioning, or unusual shapes that collectors aggressively hunt for. And although the late 1980s came after many classic repunched mint mark varieties, some specialists believe experimental die work and production inconsistencies may still have created rare anomalies that escaped quality control. And when such unusual mint mark characteristics appear alongside other errors, the coin instantly becomes a centerpiece rarity. And one especially mysterious possibility involves off-center strikes, where the blank coin planchet was not properly aligned when struck by the dies, causing part of the design to be missing while another portion appears stretched toward the edge. And depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is, while still retaining the visible date and mint mark, the value can increase dramatically, especially if the error occurred on a coin already carrying another rare characteristic. And collectors become even more excited when a coin displays multiple errors at once because multi-error coins are significantly rarer than single-error coins. And the idea of a 1988 D nickel carrying a double die, off-center strike, die crack, and wrong planchet error simultaneously is the type of legendary discovery that could send shockwaves through the collecting world. and speaking of wrong planchets, this is one of the most thrilling possibilities associated with valuable nickels, because occasionally the United States Mint accidentally strikes a coin on a blank intended for another denomination, creating a dramatic mismatch in weight, color, size, and appearance, and if a 1988 D nickel were struck on a cent planchet, dime planchet, or even a foreign planchet accidentally mixed into the minting process, the result would become an extraordinary rarity that collectors would fight to obtain, and such mint errors are incredibly scarce because strict production procedures usually prevent them from leaving the mint facility, but history has proven that mistakes still happen, and when they do, the surviving examples often command staggering prices at auctions, and many collectors carefully weigh old nickels hoping to find one that differs from the standard specifications, because even a slight difference in metal composition can reveal a hidden treasure. And another exciting feature that drives value is the possibility of full steps on Monticello, because Jefferson Nickels are famous for the detailed staircase visible on the reverse side of the building, and coins showing fully defined uninterrupted steps are extremely difficult to find due to strike weakness and die wear, meaning a 1988 D nickel with sharp full steps in pristine condition can already command impressive premiums even without dramatic errors. But when combined with a rare die variety or unusual minting mistake, the value potential grows enormously, and collectors know that condition is everything in numismatics, because a coin preserved in mint state condition with original luster, no scratches, and strong details can be worth hundreds or thousands of times more than a heavily circulated version, and if a unique error coin survives in near perfect condition, its rarity becomes almost mythical, because most error coins entered circulation quickly and accumulated damage over time, making flawless examples exceptionally difficult to locate. And another mysterious possibility involves die clashes, which occur when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint design impressions onto opposing surfaces, and these ghost-like marks create fascinating visual effects that collectors love studying under magnification, and a dramatic die clash on a 1988 D nickel could significantly increase interest, especially if paired with other unusual features, and there are also stories about broad strike errors where the retaining collar failed during the striking process, allowing the metal to spread outward unnaturally and creating coins with distorted shapes and oversized appearances, and these dramatic mint mistakes are immediately recognizable because the coin loses its normal rim structure and appears flattened or expanded, making it highly collectible among error specialists. And another possibility involves clipped planchets where part of the metal blank was missing before striking, creating crescent-shaped gaps along the edge of the coin, and while minor clips are relatively affordable, major clips combined with additional mint errors become extremely desirable, especially on coins from popular series like Jefferson Nickels. And one reason collectors are fascinated by the 1988 D nickel is because the late 1980s represented a transitional period in mint technology, die preparation, and quality control systems, meaning unusual experimental characteristics and accidental varieties may have escaped unnoticed into circulation, and every year collectors continue discovering previously unknown varieties on modern coins because billions were produced and only a tiny percentage have been carefully examined under high magnification, and that means rare undiscovered treasures may still exist in ordinary collections, bank rolls, vending machine returns, and inherited jars of change, and one especially valuable scenario involves a coin with dramatic die cracks or cuds, where pieces of the die broke away during production, leaving raised irregular blobs of metal on the struck coins, and some cut errors become famous because they create unusual shapes or distortions that make each example unique, and collectors often nickname these varieties according to their appearance, creating legendary status around certain specimens. And if a 1988 D nickel displayed a massive cut in combination with pristine condition and another minting anomaly, its desirability could reach astonishing levels, and another important factor behind extreme coin values is publicity and collector psychology, because once a coin becomes famous through media coverage, auction headlines, or viral collector stories, demand can increase dramatically as wealthy buyers compete for ownership of something considered unique or legendary. And even rumors about a coin potentially worth millions can send thousands of people searching through old change hoping to discover the next great rarity. And this excitement fuels the entire hobby because every collector dreams of uncovering a life-changing treasure hidden in plain sight, and another error possibility involves strike-through errors where foreign material such as grease, cloth fibers, or metal fragments interfered during striking, causing missing details or strange textures on the coin's surface, and while minor strike-throughs are common, dramatic examples with clearly visible effects are much scarcer and more valuable, especially when they create bizarre appearances unlike any normal coin, and some collectors specialize entirely in these strange